Hey YouTube, this is Jack from Curious Culture, and today I want to talk about an INTP's perspective on things, an INTP's perspective on life. So I'm 30 now, and I remember when I was 22, I'd walk along the waterfront at the local beach, feeling lost and unsure of where I was going in my life and who I was and all that. Had no confidence, I was sad. Um, I took everything personally, etc. I had all the problems that a typical 20-something has, and I like to think it's common and it's quite normal because you're trying to figure out who you are. You might not be very good at things just yet, and so you know it takes time to get the understanding that you got to make mistakes. You got to learn through hard situations. But something I've learned from some of the harder situations is that by getting through it, you absolutely do get stronger and wiser from it. And you learn about yourself and others, and you can learn the biggest lessons from those hard times. I've been a mental health worker for the last 5 years, and I've met probably over 100 different clients, which has been super interesting and rewarding. I like the authenticity that a client brings, which has been a big reason that I love being a support worker. I can go to work and be relaxed and just be myself. Whereas a big thing in society is you can go to a gym or other status oriented environments, maybe a certain nightclub, where you feel like there's a social expectation to put on a mask and be, you know, the super like gregarious guy at the gym or the best vibe at the nightclub or something. Whereas I've found that in social work, you get to see the honesty and the reality of people's lives. Um, this past weekend, I had a wedding that I went to, and it was a huge wedding where it was super social. And now it's Wednesday, and I'm starting to actually feel it more now, like the fatigue catching up with me. Um, and so back to the main topic. It's funny, like as an INTP, kind of go on a tangent a bit, but I like to think it all comes back to a well-rounded topic. Is that like I discovered meditation, and when I saw certain people into that lifestyle, I could see there was an inner peace and a stillness that is uncommon. Um, and so I, I knew I started to believe that there was an inner peace that is a core thing we can achieve that is irrespective of external achievement. Um, but what I'm coming to try to do is to take that peace I get from meditation and those spiritual practices and take it into everyday life, um, and to in terms of like trying to achieve things in the world, but have that inner peace. Um, I have a lot more conviction these days that we are fundamentally enough as human beings, that we are fundamentally valuable and we deserve that inner peace. Um, because I believe that we do have like a spirit or, that authentic self where we're guided by that, I believe that things have a way of working out in our lives. And honestly, like, we all probably have to learn hard lessons in ways, but that is just how it is in this world. Um, yeah, it's been an interesting journey over the years, and I'm looking at moving into doing remedial massage for a career. I heard you can, charge $90 Australian an hour if you're good at it, and um, I I've I knew that I wanted to work towards more higher hourly rates and less hours per week. I think it's more intelligent. I have an INTJ friend who we spoke together at the gym, and we agree that the 40-hour work week was more of an enforced thing, and it's not so like necessary anymore. Very important in certain contexts, obviously, for some essential jobs, but not everyone has to fit the 40-hour work week. But we might end up doing 40 hours with a combination of creative work. And I think that's where more people are wanting to go. And I encourage it for INTP types and types that feel a bit sort of different from the average person, where you're trying to find your unique expression, and to not just force a way of life that doesn't fit for you. You should embrace that you're a unique person. And, for example, like I'm in Victoria, Australia, and I can make, $600 to $800 a week for reasonable hours on Uber Eats if I choose to, and that's simply delivering food. And that's enough to cover rent. And if you're someone who's stuck in a job, like an office job or whatever it may be, and you're really unhappy, and you could be an INTP type or similar type, maybe you could do Uber Eats and see if that works for you. That's a good example of a autonomous and free-flowing job. It's not perfect, but you get to be your own boss. I bumped into another Uber Eats driver the other day who he made $3,000 in a week, and he's an ISTP type. And he said that what he did is he wanted to see how much he could make over 7 days if he worked like all the time. And he said it would be about 13 hours a day on average, and 3,000. He said $40 a day for fuel, which is pretty good comparing, like when you consider that 13 hours a day. I drove from Brisbane to Melbourne, and I thought that was more than like $80 of fuel, because that's like 20 hours of driving. So I was like, wow. It's I feel like life is a refining process, and be honest with yourself if you're not happy with the way you're living, to look at it and be like, how can I tweak it to feel better? Because feeling better aligns with law of attraction. And because I read a book about the law of attraction and how by aligning our thoughts and energy better and feeling good, we attract better things. I've had some meditation experiences and similar experiences where I've been like, oh wow, our lives are really created by our thoughts. And a conviction that if we have things right on the inside, and then we align our actions with that state, we can't go wrong, because that's like the flow of life. That's like intuition, that's your connection to your spirit or your God or whatever. And it's like that takes you on the right path of righteousness, as they say. Like if you're biblical, you could call it righteousness. And, I think there is truth, like in some parts of the Bible where they say like, the world's in disarray, and we need to find that orderliness to have mental health. I simply cleaned my house today. That felt better. It can be simple as that. And if you do that, then better things flow from there. If I clean my house the next few hours, there's a shift in my mood. Like small actions can make such a difference in your life, and I encourage you to take small actions. And just to wrap this video up, I encourage to always refine and expand your perspective on things. I wish you an awesome day. Thank you. Bye.